Hello, hi, welcome to my jubilant kitchen. My name is Juliet and today I'll be preparing okra and ogbono soup together. I'm really excited to share this recipe with you because this is how we cooked this soup growing up. I'll be listing the ingredients in the description box and also mention it as I go along, and I hope you enjoy watching this video. First and foremost, I'm going to show you how you can tell a fresh okra because you need fresh okra for this recipe. So when you snap the tip of the okra and it snaps easily without resistance, you know your okra is fresh. And I've got goat meat and chicken. I'm using broiler chicken and it's all been cleaned. And I've got the ponmo as well. I know by now you guys know that I love my goat meat and chicken when making the traditional soup. I've got the vegetable as well, so I'm using pumpkin leaves, which is the Ugwu leaves, and I've got the smoked fish, which I smoked myself, and I've got the Obgbono, which I have already blended into powder, and I've got the shrimp powder. As you know, I use the large shrimps and I blend it into powder and it's super tasty in soup. I've got the ginger and garlic paste. I've got the bouillon stock powder, the palm oil, I've got salt, and I'll be using two types of peppers. So I've got the hot Scotch bonnet and I've got the mild chili as well, and the onions as well. So I'm going to go ahead to season the meat because we're going to cook this meat. So I'll start by adding the chopped onions. I'll be adding the ginger and garlic paste, just a little bit of that. You don't want it to overwhelm your meat. And I've got the bouillon stock powder as well as the salt. So I'm going to mix this together and then put it on the heat for about 10 minutes without water, and after 10 minutes I'll be adding more water to it and leave it to cook for another 30 minutes. So on the whole I'll be cooking this meat for about 40 minutes because it's broiler chicken. I'm not going to cook it to be very soft because it needs to have a bite to it. So while the meat is cooking, I'm chopping up the onions and the pepper, and I'm going to blend this in the blender. So I'm also cutting up the okra. So I'm cutting this into large chunks. I'm removing the hard bottom part of the okra. So I'll be putting this in the food processor. That's why I'm cutting it into large chunks. So this is going into the food processor. I'm going to kind of chop this up in the food processor because I don't like my okra to be smooth and too slimy. So I'm using the chop setting on the food processor. And as you can see, the okra is chopped to, you know, tiny bits, but it's not smooth, it's not blended, so it's actually chopped. And I'm going to mix the Obgbono with the oil as well into a smooth paste. So while we were growing up, we used to mix the Obgbono and the okra in a small mortar, you know. So this soup is actually, I'm really feeling very nostalgic just preparing this soup. Each time I prepare this soup, it just takes me back and brings back very good memories growing up. So the meat has been cooking for about 40 minutes. I usually don't like my meat to cook to be very soft. Don't forget, we are going to still continue cooking this meat as we're adding more ingredients to it. So the meat will be cooking. So your meat should have a bite to it. So I'm adding the blended onions and peppers and I've added more water to it, and I'll be adding the shrimp powder and leave it to start sizzling before we add more of the ingredients. So I'm adding a little oil to it. As you can see earlier that I didn't add all the oil into the ogbono, so I've added just a little oil to the meat, and it's sizzling nicely. And at this stage I'm going to add the ponmo into it, because I like my ponmo to be crunchy. I don't like it soft, so I usually don't add it too early. So at this stage, if you can add more water, I'll be adding more water to this. It's always good to start with minimal liquid, and you add as you go along, because if it's too liquidy, it's difficult for you to reduce the liquid. So at this stage, I'm adding the fish as well. So I'm just pushing the fish into the soup so it doesn't break apart too much. And then I cover and leave it to start sizzling so that the fish can flavor the soup. The flavor of the fish can really blend into the soup. So it's sizzling nicely, and at this stage I'm going to be adding the okra. I usually add my okra before the ogbono, as I leave this to cook for about 2 minutes before adding the ogbono. So I'm adding the ogbono now, and I'm going to mix it together and then leave it to thicken. And this soup will give you your taste bud double impact. If you have eaten okra on its own and eaten ogbono on its own, you know how both of them taste. So when they come together, this is real double impact, guys. If you haven't tried this soup, you need to try it, because the taste is just indescribable. It's best experience. You need to taste it for you to know. So I'll leave this to sizzle a little bit, and then we add the vegetables. You can see it's thickening up nicely. So the vegetables are going to go in now, and I'm going to leave this to cook for another 3 minutes. As you know, Ugwu is a hard vegetable, so 3 minutes is just enough for it to cook. And you can see what is happening here. The soup is looking so appetizing, and at this stage it's ready, guys. And I'm going to turn off the heat, and as this soup cools down, it's going to thicken some more. And you can have this with anything you like, any kind of swallow, pounded yam, fufu, amala, garri. The choice is yours, but this is a very tasty soup. And if you've tried this before, please tell me in the comment below how you find it. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Bye.